Hello everyone, I'm Will and this is Norton Film and Review. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some horror film news, a few reboots, a new film announced or currently in the works, along with some reboots that I want to know, what do you think? Do we need them? Is it necessary? And how do you think they'll do them? First up is Final Destination. I'm really excited about this one. One, I love the originals, especially number 1, number 2. I like the idea of number 3 with the roller coaster, but the story, and the other ones, we just don't talk about the other ones. One of them in particular came out in that 3D era when 3D was popular, and any horror film that could released a 3D version and concentrated on that rather than the story, which is rubbish. Moving on. The idea around this film is emergency services. I think this is a brilliant idea. They're going to be touching base on the idea of people first on the scene of an emergency. This gives us a slightly different angle to how the film will go, considering it normally bases itself around a teenager seeing a premonition of what's going to happen, and then their thoughts, convincing other people, letting them know and making sure that everyone's going to be safe. This time we're actually going to get the people that look after an emergency, an accident or something like that. So it'd be really interesting to see how the take on it will be. Let me know what you think. Final Destination 6, basing its idea around emergency services and people first on the scene. Next up is Scream 5. Scream is one of my favourite horror films of all time. Not everyone's favourite, and I get why. It's not necessarily as scary as you think it would be or what have you, but the idea about it and the Wes Craven's angle and style, touch and base on so many different aspects within the horror genre. On top of that, using other horrors to feature within it. I rewatched the first one the other day on Blu-ray, and the amount of little Easter eggs inside the film is brilliant. Whether it's Friday the 13th, music from other horror films, different shots and angles. It's brilliant. If you haven't seen any of the Scream films, watch them. So, Scream 5 is coming. We don't know anything about who's going to be in the cast, if they're bringing any of them back, what the story is going to be, and how they're going to tackle a modern day version of the style of film. What we do know is the directors. The directors of a film called Ready or Not, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name, but the directors of the film Ready or Not will be directing Scream 5. If you haven't seen Ready or Not, please watch it. It's a great film, and hopefully I'll do a video on it soon for those who haven't. Comment below, let me know if you'd like a video on Ready or Not, where you can see it and how you can watch it. Next up is Dracula. Due to the popular demand and reviews of The Invisible Man, which I'm still yet to see, we're going to be getting a Dracula film. Finally, these filmmakers are deciding to touch base on these horror characters in a horror film, rather than turning them into action films. Recently, I watched a video from 3C Films where he mentioned this, and I completely agree. There's been so many films over the years that have taken a horror character and made it into an action film, like Dracula Untold and Van Helsing, those sort of characters being used in an action film. I'm sure some of them are good, I'm sure some of you have enjoyed them, but they're just not for me. These films should be made as horror characters. That was the point of them, and that's what they should be. So I'm really excited to hear that we're going to get a new Dracula, especially after the recent 3-part series on BBC One, which is still available on iPlayer if you haven't seen it. And one of the writers wrote Sherlock the series with Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman. So if you haven't seen that, Sherlock, or the Dracula series, watch it on iPlayer, and let me know what you think. Do we need another Dracula film? Yes, we've had a few of those over the years, but I think it's time that we get a new one. I think it's time that we touch base on a new way of doing these horror films. I'm also wondering, how are they going to go old school style, or are they going to go down a modern route? Who knows? As long as it's nothing like Twilight, and as long as it doesn't focus on Dracula being some sort of millionaire, technology, that sort of thing, I think it could be a good idea. Let me know what you think. A new Dracula film? Comment below. I want to finish the video by giving you a few films that I know are being discussed or now in the works to be rebooted. Let me know what you think. So here's a couple of them. One, The Ring. They're making another Ring. I don't know if you're aware, but obviously they've already tried to reboot The Ring with a film called Rings. Clever title. Obviously, I'm not a fan of The Ring in the first place. Personally, I appreciate the original that was made, obviously not in the States, but let me know what you think. Do we need another Ring film? Next up is Anaconda. Personally, I'm not a fan of the film. It is a cult classic in its own right, and for its time, it gave us something that the film world needed at the time. It's a nice easy binge, I suppose, as well. But yeah, we're going to be getting another Anaconda film, or a reboot, remake of Anaconda. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Personally, I don't think it's a great idea to do, especially after recently watching Crawl, which is about two people that are stuck in a house during a flood, and there is alligators or crocodiles, whatever they are in there, and they're trapped in there with these. Personally, the idea felt good, but there was a lot of CGI, which I was, we just don't need that much CGI in these sort of films. Let me know what you think. Do we need an Anaconda? If so, if it happens, when it happens, what rapper do you think they'll put in it? I feel like there'll be some random rapper featured in the film. Let me know what you think. The final one today, reboot-wise, is Paranormal Activity. I sound like I'm being negative because I personally am not a fan of the Paranormal Activity films. I think they're absolutely fantastic in the way that they obviously cost very little and made a lot of money. For a lot of people, they did scare them, and that paranormal angle is a scary thing to touch on. For me, it doesn't really scare me personally, but I can understand why it would affect people, or the way they might feel or be scared of that. The only bit that got me was right at the end of the first one, and honestly, yes, I did jump out of my seat. But other than that, not really doing much for me. But the one thing I am fascinated by is, how are they going to do it again in the modern world? Technology has moved on so much. Will they stick to the same thing? Is it going to be found footage? Is it going to be a completely different angle? Are we going to see this in a different way? I believe Blumhouse have already put something out to say that they are looking at it in a different way. But have a look online and see what's being said, and let me know what you think. Again, do we need another Paranormal Activity? So I'm going to finish there for today with my horror film news. So just to recap, Final Destination 6 is currently in the works and touching base on emergency services, those people first on the scene. We're getting Scream 5 with the directors of Ready or Not. Going to be really interesting to see what they do with it, how they do it, and the angle. Dracula, we're finally getting a new Dracula film for this era. Do we need one? Do you think if we have one, should it be modern or should it be old school? And of course, I touched base on 3 reboots that are currently in the works. Let me know below in the comments what you think. Anaconda, Paranormal Activity, and The Ring. Do we need them? What ideas would you have if you were making those films? Let me know. So if you want to watch any of my other videos, don't forget to subscribe by clicking below. I'm Norton Film and Review. I hope you've enjoyed my videos. I am new to this. Let me know what you think. If there's anything you think I should do a video about or discuss, drop a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Until then, take care.